College of Technology is a renowned technological provider institution of the Sultanate of Oman that believes in the power of research and innovation in order to sustain the national development and would contribute in the fulfillment of the Oman Vision 2040. The HCT, in collaboration with its stakeholders, empowers the 21st century students to collaboratively use their creative and innovative minds to think of any conceivable ways to optimize technological advancements and exploit the disruptive technologies in the Industrial Revolution 4.0 era. This symposium is a student-led event where students shine to reveal their remarkable capabilities in research and innovation. Living at the midst of the IR 4.0 era, you students are definitely the champions to revolutionize its technological advancements. Thus, this symposium is an open avenue among all of us to contribute to the research community. Moreover, this is a very good opportunity to exchange smart research ideas, techniques and approaches, state-of-the-art tools, research and project development, and the like. This is also a very good chance to listen and to meet expert personalities from the multidisciplinary fields. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks another milestone such as this rare opportunity to pioneer this event. The Student National Symposium, IR 4.0.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear Chief Guest, participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you. On behalf of the Department of IT, Higher College of Technology in Muscat, I am glad to welcome you to the second Student National Symposium for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, organized by the Department of IT, Higher College of Technology in Muscat. Thank you for joining us today. I am Osama Khalfan Al-Aysari, a third-year student, Department of IT at the Higher College of Technology, and I will be the master of the ceremony for the day. We have arranged a series of events such as keynote sessions, abstract presentations, workshops, and poster presentations for you. We hope you will learn a lot today. Today, we have with us the guest of honor, Her Excellency, Dr. Muna bint Salam Al-Jardani, for addressing the audience. The floor is yours, Doctor.
Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. You may start.
بسم الله. إذا تأذنون لي ألقي الكلمة عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الإخوة والأخوات المشاركين في هذه الفعالية، ضيوفنا الأكارم، أبناء الطلاب والطالبات، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أرحب بكم أجمل ترحيب في مستهل انعقاد هذه الفعالية العلمية الهامة التي تسعى من خلالكم إلى تبادل الأفكار والمعارف والخبرات في مجالات الثورة الصناعية الرابعة وحتمية الإنتاج المعرفي والتنمية المستدامة. أتقدم بوافر الشكر والتقدير لفريق العمل في الكلية التقنية العليا، وعلى رأسهم الدكتورة هدى الشعيلية رئيسة قسم تقنية المعلومات للإعداد والتخطيط لعقد هذه الفعالية، وكافة الجهود المبذولة لتهيئة البيئة الداعمة والأدوات الممكنة للإنتاج المعرفي. كما أشكر جميع المشاركين من داخل السلطنة وخارجها لاستقطاع جزء من وقتهم الثمين لتقديم خبراتهم وحصيلة تجاربهم العلمية في المجالات المستهدفة. أيها الحضور الكريم، خرج من بين البشر عدد ممن أسهموا في تطور البشرية في شتى المجالات. هؤلاء اتخذوا من وسائل التقصي والاستفسار والاستنباط والبحث أسلوب حياة لهم، ففتشوا في زوايا عقولهم عن طرق جديدة للتعامل مع الظواهر المختلفة التي يعيشها الإنسان، واكتشفوا حلول معقولة لتحديات كثيرة، وطوروا توليفات فكرية للاستفادة من الفرص التي استقرت أمامهم أو تلك التي نحتوها من مكامن خيالهم الخصب، فأمطرت سيل من النتائج الرائعة. إن البحوث العلمية سبيل الراغبين في الوصول إلى اليقين، والله سبحانه وتعالى أمرنا أن نسير في الأرض للنظر في خلقه العظيم، وأمرنا أن ننظر في إعجازه في أنفسنا. قال تعالى: وفي أنفسكم أفلا تبصرون. وسخر هذا الكون السليم في تخطيطه المعقد، في تكوينه، والمعجز في تنظيمه. إن بلوغ مراتب عليا من العلم يحتاج إلى عدة وعتاد وصلاح مسلك ورشاد وسمو نفس لعمل الإنجاز. إن إنجازات العالم في وقتنا الحاضر تمر من بوابة التقنية ونظم المعلومات التي فتحت المجال واسعاً لجودة حياة الإنسان، وأنتجت له فضاءات واسعة من تقنيات جديدة في شتى مجالات حياته، في الطب والهندسة وعلوم الفضاء وغيرها. إن أفضل العلوم أعمها فائدة للناس، وأجملها من له ارتباط وثيق بهم، وأكثر استدامة من أعيدت هندسته فحسنت صيرورته. لقد عشنا قرونا عديدة تطورت فيها حياتنا بشكل لافت، ونعيش اليوم أقصى ما وصلت إليه البشرية في تطور في نظم المعلومات، فيسرت علينا أمور حياتنا، وجعلت كثيراً ممن استعصى على أجيال من قبلنا قريب سهل المنال. أبناء الطلبة والطلاب والطالبات، إنكم تعيشون مرحلة تعليمية رائعة، تكتشفون أنفسكم وقدراتكم من خلال ما أودع الله فيكم من مكنونات ومعجزات عظيمة. وأنتم محظوظون اليوم في هذا العصر بأن تجدوا أمامكم بحار من العلوم تنهلون منها ما يفيدكم ويفيد مجتمعكم وأمتكم. إن الباحث الفاعل منكم والأقدر على الإنتاج والأقدر لجني الثمار أولئك الذين يستمرون في رحلة تقصيهم دون كلل أو ملل، يزرعون بذور المعرفة في ذواتهم فيقطفون ما طاب منها وما حسن. وفي هذا الزخم الهائل من معلومات وأفكار أجده لزاما علينا وعليكم وعلى كل فرد منا، وهو يمخر ويتعمق في بحور العلم والمعرفة، أن يوظف أدوات التفكير من التحليل والتركيب والاستنباط والاستدلال والخروج بأفكار ابتكارية خلاقة تسهم في إحداث الفارق للفرد والمجتمع والإسهام في صناعة المعرفة. فقد كان الشباب منذ فجر النهضة المباركة ولا زال المحرك الأول للتنمية وصانعها، وهم كما وصفهم جلالة السلطان هيثم بن طارق حفظه الله ورعاه حين قال: هم ثروة الأمم وموردها الذي لا ينضب وسواعدها التي تبني، هم حاضر الأمة ومستقبلها. وقد وضع جلالته الاهتمام بالشباب والبحث العلمي والابتكار في أعلى سلم الأولويات الوطنية، مؤكداً سعي حكومته في توفير كافة أسباب التمكين. وقد عملت وزارة القوى العاملة لتوفير البيئة المحفزة والفرص المتنوعة لتنمية مهارات الطلاب في الكليات التقنية والمهنية في مجالات البحث العلمي والابتكار وريادة الأعمال، وتمكينهم من مهارات الثورة الصناعية الرابعة، سواء من خلال البرنامج الدراسي الذي يدرسونه أو الأنشطة المتنوعة في داخل الكلية وخارجها، إدراكاً منها بأهمية هذه المهارات في سوق العمل. وقد برهن أبناؤنا الطلاب قدراتهم ومهاراتهم في عدد كبير من المنافسات المحلية والإقليمية والعالمية، وحققوا مراكز متقدمة، ورسموا لأنفسهم بفضل مثابرتهم واجتهادهم مستقبلاً باهر ومكانة مشرفة، ملبين دعوة جلالة السلطان قابوس بن سعيد طيب الله ثراه حين قال: إن الشباب العماني المتشوق إلى آفاق المجد مدعو اليوم إلى أن يتخذ من أجداده الميامين قدوة طيبة في الجد والعمل والصبر والمثابرة. أسأل الله العظيم التوفيق والنجاح في تحقيق الأهداف المرجوة من هذه الفعالية، وأشكركم جزيل الشكر على الدعوة لحضورها، ومتمنية لكم دوام هذه النعمة. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency, for your motivational speech. Now I welcome Dr. Huda Salam al-Shaili, Head of Information Technology at the Higher College of Technology in Muscat, for a talk. The floor is yours, Doctor.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم. Very much for your motivated, for your golden words that always inspire us to do more to help this country and to follow the successful people who build Oman and spend their life to build Oman and to build people in Oman, to build their skills and their capacity as well. Thank you very much, Undersecretary. And now allow me to share with you some of the events information about the conference today. So, as you know, the first Student National Symposium IR4 was last year. And from last year, we got a lot of feedback from the participants, especially our young researcher. They found it was really very helpful to express their skills and to test themselves and their abilities. So we started immediately after the first one. And as all of you know about COVID-19 pandemic, it was a challenge to help us and to test us as well. Are we going to continue our plans or not? 2 months ago, the team discussed with me, shall we proceed or not? I said, just hold on. And after we found that our young researcher, our students were able to engage in the online learning across different academic institutions in Oman, we decided to bring you the second Student National Symposium IR4 using the latest and the possible platform. We have decided to use this platform and bring all of you together to again do our plans and do the task that we are supposed to do. So COVID-19 will not stop us from playing the big role to develop this country. We are the big player to help this country to do all the possible things that can be done. Let me give you a little bit brief about this symposium. This symposium is an open event to all students from both public and private higher education institutes across Oman to submit their research papers or projects for presentations at the symposium. This is a very good opportunity to exchange brilliant research ideas, techniques, and approach state-of-the-art tools, research project development, and the like among participants. This is also a very good chance to listen and meet experts, but this time virtually from the multidisciplinary fields. What is the scope of the conference? We aim to update the participants, our young researchers, through the enhancement of their computing knowledge and skill. We also aim to stimulate students to think innovatively through research and development, acquire necessary 21st century knowledge and skills such as collaboration, teamwork, creativity, and imagination, critical thinking, problem solving, information literacy, leadership, communication skills, social responsibility, and ethics. We would like to enable students to appreciate the socioeconomic benefits of IR4 toward the national strategic direction, Oman 2040. Young researcher, we are in the first stage of Oman 2040, which based on the technology, young researcher who are working and studying any information literacy or computer science, information science, this is now your chance to build your skills. We are waiting for you. Oman 2040 is focusing on such skills. The area that we are covering, as usual, like what we covered last year, and we add the new technology as well. But this time, under such circumstances that humanity are facing now, we decided to bring our younger to think loudly. COVID-19 is here, but we've seen in the last few months how the technology tools were utilized to help either the issue coming from COVID-19 as in education issues or health issues or economic issues or even social issues. So now, young researcher, let us think together through your projects that you have completed, through your papers that you will present, how we can utilize such technology to help humanity who are facing now one of the biggest issues, which is COVID-19 pandemic. Together, today and later on, we will discuss this one. In this symposium, we are having 3 international keynote speakers. Thank you to all the 3 keynote speakers. Thank you so much. In addition, we are going to have a discussion on COVID-19 and how the technology was used to solve the issue came from it. More than 500 participants registered in this symposium. We are going to present 26 students poster presentation, 71 research paper presentations, and 2 students workshop. So be with us. Our program started and it will end by. Thank you very much, and we'll be so happy to welcome you soon on board to discuss about the COVID-19 and how it was used in research and technology, to share with us your experience, your research, to discuss with our younger what they can do and how they can utilize their skills to overcome such issue. In addition, I would like to tell our participant about something. This now we are in just one room. It's called the webinar room. We will listen to our keynote speakers and we'll listen to the discussion panel. After that, we are having 10 rooms. All the students will be going to their rooms to present their papers, to present their project, or to attend one of the 2 workshops. If you are not yet assigned to one of these rooms, or if there is any decision maker who would like to move and progress, so please communicate with us. You can write it in question and answer bar, write your email and let us know. It will be a very exciting experiment. It's the first for us, and it might be also the first for you as well. It's really amazing. We are so proud to introduce this kind of virtual rooms, or what we call breakout rooms, that you can move from one room to another, where this room, there are around 20-30 students per room assigned to present their papers or posters, and also there are some academic to evaluate them and discuss their idea as well. So please be with us. The breakout rooms will start from 12 till 3 o'clock. Why I'm participating in this symposium? It is free of charge. You can join, you can participate, you can present your work, you can discuss your work. You will be getting a certificate. Your papers will be, the selected paper will be published through HCT journals. Also, publication of the workshop abstract through HCT Media and the official website of HCT. This is your certificate. Make sure you get your certificate at the end of the day. Thank you very much. I was so happy to be with you, and I wish you, inshallah ta'ala, a fruitful webinar. You will learn a lot of things through the discussion and through also our keynote speakers. Thank you very much. The floor is you, Osama. The floor is you, Osama.
Thank you very much, Dr. Huda, for your motivation and constant support to us. Thank you.
College of Technology is a renowned technological provider institution of the Sultanate of Oman that believes in the power of research and innovation in order to sustain the national development and would contribute in the fulfillment of the Oman Vision 2040. In collaboration with its stakeholders, empowers the 21st century students to collaboratively use their creative and innovative minds to think of any conceivable ways to optimize technological advancements and exploit the disruptive technologies in the Industrial Revolution 4.0 era. This symposium is a student-led event where students shine to reveal their remarkable capabilities in research and innovation. Living at the midst of the IR 4.0 era, you students are definitely the champions to revolutionize its technological advancements. Thus, this symposium is an open avenue among all of us to contribute to the research community. Moreover, this is a very good opportunity to exchange smart research ideas, techniques and approaches, state-of-the-art tools, research and project development, and the like. This is also a very good chance to listen and to meet expert personalities from the multidisciplinary fields. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks another milestone such as this rare opportunity to pioneer this event. The Student National Symposium, IR 4.0.
Dear participants, kindly note that e-certificates will be provided to the symposium participants who will attend the full sessions and fill the survey form. So please, stay till the end of the symposium. Dear participants, we are now going to start our keynote sessions. We have with us renowned speakers for the keynote sessions. Each session lasts for 30 minutes. If you have any questions, please leave it in the Q&A box. It will be answered during the panel discussion session. Now, I would like to introduce our first keynote speaker for this morning, Dr. Sandasan Perumal. Dr. Sandasan is the Deputy Director of University Sains Islam, Malaysia. The title of his topic is Enmesh, Humanizing Computing in Today's Innovation. Welcome, Doctor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doctor.
Okay. Good morning to Her Excellency Dr. Muna Binti Salim Al Jadania, Under Secretary of Ministry and Manpower for Vocational Training and Technical Education. Dr. Huda Salim Al Shauli, Head of Information Technology Department, Higher College of Technology. Dr. Muhammad Said Sulaiman bin Bahari, Head of School Information Technology Department. Mr. Talib Al-Maurki, Head of School for Information Technology Department. And all my dear friends, academicians and students, this is indeed the great pleasure for me to be here today on the second Students' National Symposium. Today, the keynote is to make some significant impact on how the world is transforming. So my title would be on Unmatched Humanizing Computing in Today's Innovation. And my name is Sundaresan Perumal. I'm the Deputy Director for the Innovation, Product Development and Commercialization, Research, Innovation and Management Center. And I'm a Senior Lecturer on Faculty of Science and Technology in University of Science of Malaysia. So let me get into the real topic. Now, what comes in your mind whenever you see this picture? I mean, this picture is being there for ages. Whenever we talk about innovation, when we talk about ideas, the first thing comes in your mind is bulb or light. But obviously, you might think why people used to relate this. You need to know during the active period of our brain are capable of producing electrical current due to nearly 100,000 of chemical reaction occurring in it per second. These chemical reactions are due to a tiny cells called neurons. So this neuron process and transmit information through electrical and chemical signals. Then they pass to each other. So if you really look at how it works, these pass of information will happen at the speed of 420 kilometers per hour, which is faster than the speed of a McLaren Mercedes in F1. So guess now, this information could have made things more faster. So guess now this information, when it arrives at this site, our brain literally lights up. This is why an idea usually associated to a light bulb. And obviously, when we talk about the moment, we always talk about it's about Eureka or light bulbs or aha. This is quite common. The other thing is the transformation that we are looking at today. So let me talk about myself a little bit. I have started my computer journey 25 years back. as I grew up in a small village where even technology is an alien word there. Then I started to leave for my studies, as that was my first experience of staying away from family. I've been spending a lot of my time with computer compared to any other human being. I still remember it is year 2000, was before smartphone was emerged. If anybody still remember about Microsoft Clippers, here he comes. You still remember this? It always pops up in MS Word and disturbs us by asking, just type the letter without a help. Do you want to save the letter? This makes me realize that technology has no emotion, neither intelligence, as it never understands our feelings. Just to recall another thing, those days when we call our bank for some reason, there will be an automated answering machine saying, welcome to so-and-so bank, then you will be asked to input some value that isn't understood. There will be a reply, wrong input, error cannot be processed, thank you. Then the worst part, it disconnects you immediately without furthering anymore. But now you have voice banking enabled all around the world. It verifies who are you. It proceeds with whatever transaction that you wish to. So, with this phenomena, humanizing technology were in mind of most creators. We have started to see things like Siri, Bixby, Alexa, echoing, ruling the world by answering our questions. So it's about transforming to the next level technology. I just wanted to walk you through to some pandemic that we have seen in year 2000, the system pandemic that we have came across. If some of us might have forgotten it, I just wanted to remind you about Y2K, how the technology have bring the 20th century's digital defect. Think of it as it's a time bomb ticking inside a computer in a digital program for decades. Now, we need to understand that it's been 20 years. We still have quite numbers of technologies that we have forgotten. How many of us remember that there's something called 6 degree? 6 degree is considered to be the first social network that exists in year 2000. It allows you to sign up with an email address, make individual profile to add friends, to think about the personal network. Not forgotten about the other thing, the GPS. Remember those days where President Clinton landmark decision to open up GPS signal, which all the while were used only by the military. It has catalyzed and triggers our launch of the navigation system, which we are in today. To recall another one more thing, J-phone. J-phone, also known as a JSH04, was the mobile phone made by the Sharp Corporation and released by J-phone, which is SoftBank Mobile. It was the only available in Japan and was released with the first world built-in back-facing camera. This happens in year 2000. We had Bluetooth. Bluetooth was been launched and made it first hand-free mobile handset. Then, of course, revolution USB flash drive. IBM became the first to sell USB flash drive in United States in year 2000. This is the initial storage capacity was started with at an 8 MB storage. So all this technology were being there since year 2000. Now the question here is, it's 20 years have passed. Where are we now? How are we going to enmesh this innovation into us? In technology, we must make sure that we marry the future without divorcing the past, because that's the real technology is all about. So let's start to turn into a high velocity innovation instead of just innovation, where the ability to deliver new solution that generates value for you and your customer at the rapid pace. That is the time to the needs of your customer, markets, and business. So an innovation is always a novel approach to solve a problem, perhaps one that customer don't know they are. It implies that the innovation is something new, something that never have been done before. It also applies that innovation has a purpose. It is not pure research to advance the state of human knowledge, and it is not a pure art for creative expression. We need to understand this always. It accomplishes something meaningful for your company, your customers, your investors. I have been in the department for nearly 2 years. I've seen a lot of young innovators today using high velocity innovation system to explore new business model, reinvent supply chain, incorporate adaptive manufacturing production method, even develop training program for HR and rollout organizations. What they all share is the effort and deliver new way to solve a problem and their customers. So we always need to understand the myth of innovation, because when you see, remember, innovation knowledge works, and knowledge works expand to fill the available time. If the market researcher is given time and money for 6 months, not to get offended, the innovator scale his research methods to take 6 months. If you are given him 3 months, she'll scope down the project for the given time. If he were given 2 weeks, he will pull together whatever he can in such a short time, which may be enough for a preliminary analysis. If you give him an unlimited budget and no deadline, he may never finish it. So the conclusion is, more time does not always equal to a better results. We have to keep this always in our mind. The next generation computing solutions, such as cyber physical system or Industry 4.0, are focused in increasing efficiency in process execution as much as possible. It will be impossible for such automation to happen without the magical touch of a human, as do understand that the world was first dominated by the human, not robot. So everything today we are seeing as a service, starting from the cloud to the IIoT, industry, Internet of Things. We've been looking for human as a service, has, to anything as a service. This has no to lead an era where human and machine to be incredibly collaborating and working together. It is the time to start defining the parameter around how the integration will take place within a human and also the robots. This is to ensure that the artificial intelligence in the service of humanity contributes to the more efficient and productive workplace, but also freeing people from the rudimentary task. I would like to highlight that when we talk about artificial intelligence, we need to broaden our horizon, as we need to anticipate another 2 more words in AI, which we always forgot about it, or we used to miss it. One is the artificial general intelligence and artificial super intelligence. Let's look in detail about this. I have a timeline to reimagine the future. This is where our AI, AGI, and ASI is heading. We have started with a smart city, with a connected healthcare, the next generation aging computing. Then we comes to artificial intelligence, general institution, transportation, logistics, and we are at the peak where we talk about space colonization, distinctions, and radical life, which is beyond our expectation, where the super intelligent, artificial intelligence predicted to work for. When we talk about, I'll give you a very brief idea about what this is all about, the space colonization, where space colonization also called as a space settlement. It's a extraterrestrial colonization. This is a permanent human habitation and exploitation of natural resources of the planet of the Earth. Many arguments have been made for a space colonization, but we need to remember we have already placed a rover in Mars to study what exists over there. In the last Planetary Science Vision 2050 workshop in NASA, there were papers presented on this colonization. So it is not just something that on paper, it is people have started to work on it. Let me bring you to another point, that artificial general intelligence. Artificial general intelligence could carry out any task of a human could, and likely many that human couldn't. So the AGI could be able to combine human-like flexible thinking, reasoning with computational advantage such as near instant recall and split-second number crunching, what we've been seeing today, the technology. Let me share you a video.
Actually do about it. We already have the technology to read the inner voice in your mind. So imagine controlling your phone with your inner thoughts, writing a report without a keyboard, playing video games without a controller, or walking into stores that already know what you want to buy. Imagine seeing the world with augmented reality, commuting a bit safer, working a bit faster, exercising in a way that's actually fun. What if we could restore some of the ability to walk, give some of the sense of touch, enhance eyesight, fight disease, or modify DNA? What happens when robots start building our homes, delivering our news, pouring our beers, and driving us home? These are not examples of the far distant future. These are examples of what is possible right now. With artificial intelligence, the pace of human progress is about to become not so human at all. So how much is your world about to change?
Yes, what I've been seeing just now was the artificial general intelligence. Now, I bring to another point here. Now, everybody in this world who has smartphone have an assistant in it. Now, children no longer ask much question to us. I can recall one thing, how my nephew is torturing the Google Assistant the whole day asking questions. How annoying it is, hard to say. This is the virtual digital assistant. Just to name few, Siri, Alexa, Bixby. Now I bring to one point over here that I would like to say Siri and Alexa is not an AI. It is a software engineering, like thousands of engineers, script writers, audio, voice talents. Of course, I would never deny that there is here and there some machine learning, but it's not the real AI. Why? Let's share another video.
Actually do about it. Actually do about it.
How can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. You have everything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have it 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks, great. Have a great day. Bye.
Give it up.
This is the first Google Assistant making an appointment. So people were thinking that, wow, Google Assistant was super intelligent. But let me walk through with the same Google Assistant who is making another one more reservation.
Yeah, may I hear you?
Hi, I'd like to visit people for Wednesday.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people with
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually, we need to for like after like 5 people. For people, you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
When tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
Oh no, it's not too busy. You can come for 4 people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
Bye bye.
So the point that I would like to bring it over here is there's still always a language barrier that we still need to overcome. Okay. So the other part is, now let's go to something which is more scary, I would say. That's artificial super intelligence. But the whole thing that what we are talking here would be very positive. But later I will share another video, which is, you could judge it. Once an AGI, artificial super intelligence, exists, it will improve upon itself at the exponential rate, rapidly evolving to the point where the intelligence operates beyond human comprehensions. We couldn't imagine how it is. The ASI will become more conscious, self-sustainable, self-learning, developing, and improving constantly. I know most of you all will be still thinking how it is. The spectrum is so wide that artificial intelligence may be seen controlling pollutions, poverty, fighting disease, and more. You might have seen some of it even now. It will be equipped to fight anyway, destroy catastrophe. Who knows, it might be a meteor, as well as protect us from alien invasion. It will be smart enough to look control on the way, just what we had today in this world. Now, imagine a world where a human being will be insignificantly in compared to the creation. As conclusion, we need to be alert and more responsible when we develop such a system that has the ability to overpower the mankind. We need to understand and define the basic law that will govern the artificial superintelligence so that we can take charge and determine its future. We must hold and restrict its future. Nobody wants to destroy by our own creation. Let's share another video.
At some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to an AI, the artificial intelligence, a singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky.
We heard the warnings.
I try to convince people to slow down AI. I tried for years.
but we didn't listen.
The development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
Now we live in a world controlled by artificial intelligence. How did we let this happen? Will we be able to survive? And is this the end of the world? Now to start running itself. Technology will become so advanced that it won't need humans to operate it anymore, becoming uncontrollable. As AI becomes free to do whatever it pleases, it will continue to improve on itself, becoming more advanced with every passing second. This is known as a technological singularity. This technological singularity may allow AI to do almost anything, even physically, such as robots taking over our manufacturing machines. When that happens, they can create their own machines. And let's be honest, by the time something like this happens, humans will most likely have created an AI that can make its own physical objects. If something like this happens, it would pretty much only mean bad things for us humans. Unfortunately, this is more of a when if than a what if. Since the 1980s, thought leaders in AI and technology have been predicting that it could happen. Some think it could even happen by the middle of this century. If it did happen, what would it mean for us as human beings? Well, that would really be up to our AI overlords. In this world, humans would essentially be useless bags of meat taking up space. Insulting, I know, but if AI took control of everything, we really wouldn't be that useful. Anything that the AI wanted to do or accomplish would be slower and less efficient if done by humans. But if the AI were somehow to allow us to live among them, then what would happen? Well, let's hope they wouldn't pave over our crops to build more robot factories. Since AI doesn't need food, they most likely wouldn't care about our feeble human needs.
And what do humans do with these things?
Oh man, what didn't they do? They bounced them?
Unless they allowed us to continue to manufacture and grow our own food, it would deplete over time, leaving us humans with nothing. The only reason AI would keep us humans alive is if they somehow liked us enough to keep us as what would essentially be pets.
So the question is, are we in future going to be a pet for them? We must hold and restrict its future. Nobody wants to be destroyed by our own creation, obviously. So the conclusion is, when you change the way you see the world, you can change the world that you have seen. And always remember something very, very important. We innovate to cut costs, not jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for an interesting session on a very interesting topic. It was very informative and well enjoyed. Our next keynote speaker is Dr. Saad bin Abdul Kashim, Faculty of Robotics and Advanced Computing, Qatar Armed Forces, Qatar Foundation. He will be talking about technology combining electronics and mechanical engineering. Welcome, Doctor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Osama, I'm not able to share the screen.
Yeah, sure. Try now.
Yes. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, sir. You can go on.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me on this one. I would like to introduce myself first. I'm Dr. Saad Kashim. I'm working at Qatar Foundation and Qatar Armed Forces Academic Bridge Program. I would like to address Her Excellency Dr. Muna bint Salim Al Jordania. Assalamu alaikum. Under Secretary of Ministry of Manpower for Vocational Training and Technical Education. I also would like to address Dr. Huda Salim Al Suhaili, Head of Information Technology Department, High College of Technology, Dr. Muhammad Saeed Sulaiman Al Bahari, Head of Information Technology Department, Mr. Talib Al Maharuki as well. So first we like to share my screen once again. Where is it? Can you see the full screen of the presentation?
You can go on.
Okay. So today my topic is technology combining electronics and mechatronics engineering. So nowadays everything is about electronics and mechanical engineering. So first we would like to let you know about myself. So I have more than 11 years of experience as a lecturer, counselor, and researcher in universities of Australia, Malaysia, and Qatar. I have already published 51 articles in the form of book chapter. And I have done my PhD back in 2013 in robotics and mechatronics engineering from Australia. Now I am a visiting research fellow in electrical and computer engineering department of Texas A&M University, and visiting assistant professor of Presidency University. And as I already mentioned you guys that I'm a lecturer in robotics in Qatar Armed Forces Academic Bridge Program in Qatar. So this is some pictures of my students from Swinburne University and the Qatar Armed Forces. I would like to talk about what I'm doing research on, like some completed and ongoing research. First of all, the pilot automation for advanced manufacturing of high-performance graphene super batteries. We got a funding of 500,000 Australian dollar for this project. And microgrid system for forward military base. I'm working with this one in Qatar Armed Forces. And semi-active defense system, designing dark fit for amphibious robot. We have published 4 journals on this robotic design. We will come on later on with videos. And vehicle integrated system for chassis control. It's a continuation of my PhD work. I'm also working with predicting early risk in COVID-19 with Dr. Chaudhary. He's going to be the next speaker, who is our valuable keynote speaker, and also designing car autonomous sunshade while I was back in Malaysia. So you guys have any idea what is the specialty of this car? I guess no one can answer, so because all are muted, right? So this is a special car because everything over here is mechanical. Nothing is electrical. If you guys see the horns over here, there's a brake, gear, shifter, all are manual. Okay, so the steering system, everything is manual in this car. I had a mechanic in Australia where he used to work for my cars, and he really likes the mechanical cars. He hates the computerized car because maybe he cannot fix it, or he says in the manual cars is very easy to fix, no issues. He can know where is a problem, but computerized car is really difficult or challenging. So what do you guys think about this one? Some people say computerized car is better. Some people say mechanical cars are better. But I prefer computerized car. Like if you plug in with computer, then the computer can say what is the problem with the car, right? I had a bit long experience with the computerized car. This is a BMW Z3. I used to own it in Australia. It's 1997 model. It was fully computerized car. And I had an issue with the suspension system over there. And I plugged with the computer and tried to check where is the issues. It says always the error. You need to change the suspension system whole thing. But later we found that the problem was the connection, the wired connection between the suspension system and the vehicle computer. So it was showing that error was with the suspension system, but technically we found that the problem was with the connection, the wired connection of the computer and the suspension system was an issue. So sometimes the computer's car can give you wrong information, but while if you have a mechanical car, you can easily detect the problems. But still, guys, believe me, I still love the computer cars. It's really fast and it's like easy to diagnose the problem. So my previous research on suspension system, it motivated me how to work with the suspension system, how to make it more effective. While I was driving very fast with this car, it's like you see in the sports car, I feel like my body is trying to go outward from the center of the circle. If I want to turn a circle a bit faster, my body of the car and my body itself, it tries to tend go outward from the center of the center of the circle of wherever I'm turning. So I was trying to develop a suspension system on where we can work with this issue and we can turn this vehicle a bit faster. And also we can address the suspension of the roads to get a better comfort. So the major contribution of my PhD was develop a novel adaptive sky suspension control system to improve vehicle suspension and cornering performance. I have worked, my work was published in high-ranked journals, SNSIR journals, Vehicle Dynamics, and the reviewer really flagged the design as a novel approach. So the question is what is skyhook control, right? So skyhook control is the idea of like, I can hook my car from the sky. So imagine my car is hooked from the sky and I'm driving around the streets. So I will not feel any bump or any disturbance from the road, right? So it was a really good idea, but the problem is it really possible to hook my car from the sky if it's not flying car? So it's still a road vehicle car, but we have to hook it from the sky. So this idea was firstly generated from Carnop et al. From 1974. So there is 3 different types of suspension system available now. First is passive, semi-active, and active. Passive suspension system is not controlled by any computer or anything. It's just a normal spring and damper. We can see this one still in the trucks and buses, mainly on the trucks. They don't care about suspension system. So they just use a manual or passive suspension system, which has no control. The semi-active suspension system, if you can see, we are still using the spring and damper from the passive system, and we are adding another one, the active suspension system or active controller, to control the suspension system. Over here, M2 means the mass of the vehicle body, and M1 is the unsprung mass, we call it. So it's a mass of the wheel and also the tire altogether is M1. And this is a 1/4 of the mass of the body. So this is, you can imagine 1/4 of the car. So if you look at this one, the first wheel we can divide in one section. Semi-active have a little bit one damper. We can control this one, but the good thing is if it fails, the computer can fail, right? The electronics part can fail. So it's pretty safe to use the semi-active suspension system, but there is also drawbacks, like you cannot control the suspension system fully because it has a damper as well. The last and the most effective one is the active suspension system, where we will keep the spring again, but we will remove the damper, the passive damper forever, and we will use an actuator. Instead of a damping ratio or damper, we will use an actuator on over here. So it could be an electromagnetic damper or it could be oil-based damper. So we can control the suspension system through a computer. So as I said already, Carnot et al. Started this one in 1974. He came to with this skyhook control algorithm, and he used to call it as continuous skyhook control. And there was only two conditions. So this was Z dot means Z2 dot means is the unsprung mass velocity, and Z1 dot is a sprung mass velocity. So they have only two conditions. Carnot et al. Their fellow researchers. If this relations, the velocities or the disturbance of the unsprung and unsprung mass, this relation satisfy is greater than 0, I will do this one. So they have a fixed value of C minimum, that the damping ratio was fixed value, and also the C max or the maximum value. So they put it 0 for C min and C max for 1000. So instead of 0, they put 0.1, otherwise it will become 0 whole thing. 0.1, and for C max they put 3000. So it was a fixed value. So they cannot change for different cars. So for all the cars, it will have the same value of the damping ratios. And if it's less than 0, they will have this condition. So the force of the damping force, over here, we have to give this force, Fd, according to the two conditions. In 1995, Bissinger and his fellow researchers have come up with a new idea. They called it as modified skyhook control, and they remove the condition. So for any condition of the road or any condition of the suspension system, they will always exert this Fd, this force to the damping, to the damper or electromagnetic dampers. So they have came up with the C-sky. This is the optimal skyhook control, and with this ratio relations, and they will always exert the same force depending on the suspension or depending on the road surface. The last one, the optimal skyhook control, was available on 2009, Nguyen et al. So there were many, in between there were many suspension systems, but these three are significant. I have checked the other skyhook control systems, but their performance was not that good. So we put these three as a reference point for us, and we have done with this compare our new modified skyhook control with these three. So optimal skyhook control again get two conditions for two damping situations. Okay, so this is the suspension system. If the relations is like that, then it will give this type of value for the force for the damper. Otherwise, they will put 0, no force at all. Again, the C sky over here. Look over here, C sky, C max. They are all fixed values. Okay, they put 1500 over here. They put 1400. So I cannot change it for different cars. So it will be the same thing for same car or different car on different road surface. I cannot change this value. So what I done with my proposed modified skyhook control algorithm is I am checking the road and I'm changing the skyhook value, the damping ratio. I'm changing according to the road surface and also depending on the car. Okay, so how do I find it? I have made this relationship of the performance index where I can get the best value, and I can change the performance index according to our road surface and this formula. And I have also put three conditions so if I have this type of value, then I will change this one. My damping ratio will be this one. If I have this type of situation, I will have this damping force for my electromagnetic damper. And otherwise, I will always continue this type of maximum damper. So how I am working on this one. So I have an onboard computer system in my car, and I have modeled a quarter car suspension system in the computer system. So I will put the value of M1 and M2 depending on the car. So if I have a sedan car, my M1 and M2 will change. If you have a Mercedes, it will depend on the weight of the cars, right? So I will divide the total weight of the car by 4, and I can put these values over here, M1 and M2. So while the car is moving on the road, So this is a road profile, right? So I can record the road profile for 2 seconds or 2 milliseconds, depending on the speed of your computer, how fast it can calculate. I will put this road profile in the onboard computer system, where I will calculate the best performance index. So I will try all the values from 0 to 3000 to check what is the best performance for this skyhook damping ratios. So I will find the best skyhook damping ratio, and I will put it inside the modified skyhook control, and I will this suspension system, the real suspension system will be dictated by the new skyhook damping ratio. So sky over here will change after 2 seconds. So if remember, if I go to a good road, like with the modern roads, the damping ratio will be looser. And if I go to a bad road like a gravel road, I have to stiffen my the suspension system. So it will be softer in the gravel road, and it will be very stiff in the real road. So I can go faster. And when I go to a gravel road, I should have a more comfort, and I will go slower, and I will feel more better with softer damper. So in Australia, we cannot test our real car in the road, so we have to generate our road by ourselves. So there's an ISO standard for different road class A, road class B, and road class C. So road class C means it's a very bad road. It's like gravel road. It has a lot of bumps. You can see over here a lot of bumps in the disturbance over here. And road class B is a medium, and road class A is a very good road. We have pitches. So still we have some disturbance, but it's very minimal, 0.05 disturbance we can feel in the car. And when we run our suspension system over here on this road profile, we got it that comparison of the ride comfort. For my system, the modified system, I get better ride comfort. So it's lower means I get better ride comfort, and higher means I have better one. So the passive suspension system is very high, and where the Nuance et al. And Bissinger and Lewis et al., they have more variation in the disturbance in terms of my suspension system. So my sprung mass normalized RMS acceleration was minimum. So the body sprung mass is the body of the car is experiencing less acceleration in my system. All right. So, but there's a problem. If I want to make it more better, I will lose control with my car. So I cannot remember, like when I have a very good control of the car, ride comfort, I may lose the contact with the road. So if I imagine if I'm turning my car and I lose control, my tire lose the control with the connection with the road. So while I'm turning my car, it's not turning anymore. It's flying somewhere. So I cannot make it a very good ride comfort. So we have to compromise between the ride comfort and the road handling. Okay, so if I want to make it very good road comfort, ride comfort one, then I have to lose something with the road handling system. So when you design a suspension system, it's very important to check that are you controlling with the road, what is your road handling system? Is it good with the road or not? If it's very good with ride comfort, you have to also check with ride handling. So is it okay with when it's performing the road? It would be there rollover or any accident or not? Okay. So in terms of road handling, my system was not that good. The best one was the Nuance one. Okay, or the Bissinger one is the best performance for the road handling performance. My one is a bit more than passive and as well from the Nuance Bissinger. But in terms of Lewis and Nuance models, my one is better. So I had 4% reduction in the road handling from the passive, but I have gained 20% better performance than the passive suspension system. Okay, and the last thing is we have to also validate our design. Okay, whenever you design something, maybe it's very good, but you have to do the validation. In terms of car, you have to check the vibration also. So most of the people feel very bad when they have 4 to 8 hertz frequencies. So if my car is suspending, my suspension system is working, like my vehicle acceleration is on 4 to 8 hertz per second, I'll feel very bad. Maybe I will vomit. So I will throw up, something like that. So if you feel something like when you go to the sea with the boat, or maybe in the ship, you feel like seasickness, right? So because of the acceleration. So if it's too slow, 4 to 8 hertz, you'll feel bad. If it's higher, it's better. Okay. So this range, 4 to 8 hertz, we always try to avoid. So when people design suspension system, some people says 2 to 8 hertz, or some people says 4 to 8 hertz. We always try to avoid in this range. So our suspension system need to be designed so the acceleration range should be less in this region, 4 to 8 hertz. So if you can see in three different roads, my more acceleration is coming after 0 to 10. So my frequency is after 0 to 10. If you see the 0 to 10, my frequencies are very low. My suspension system is performing very well. So the validation is very important. Whenever you submit your paper, people will ask, did you validate? Did you check the road handling or other systems for the suspension system? So my suspension design was approved by the validator and also the road handling system. So now we are talking about the COVID system.
Last 5 minutes.
So we have designed the ventilation system with the robot C and also EV3 module. And we check the performance with Dr. Chidri in this video. So again, it's a mechatronics, so mechanical combination of mechanical and electronics engineering. And I said about the duck fit for amphibious robot. And this is the design of my duck fit amphibious robot. And where like I was imitating the duck. The first time in the world, we were imitating the duck fit. As you see, the ducks can swim in the water with the same leg. And also they can walk in the mud and in the road, wherever you want. So the web feet design is very important. They have a special design on the feet. So I just copied the design of Allah, like Allah designed something very nice and just copied this idea. So this is the first time we did this one. So before that, like we used to see that when we have amphibious vehicle, which one can work in road and also in the water, they use propeller for water and they use the wheels in the road, so get a better performance. So I try to use the same propulsion system to get the benefit of walking and swimming in the road. So as long as you know that if we go for Mars or other planets, we try to reduce our weight. We try to use our propulsion system. Also, we try to reduce our costs. So if you use one propulsion system instead of 2 or 3 is better. So I try to design some one propulsion system. So for my robot, one propulsion system is enough for working in any environment. Okay, let's go to the video. You guys still hear me? So our objective was to design an amphibious robot that are able to move on land and water, imitating a duck, able to walk, climb, and swim, utilizing a single locomotion. So I can climb with the stairs with the duck feet. Nowadays, we have issues with walking and climbing the stairs with our robot if we have wheel-based one. So if I have a walking-based one, I cannot swim as well. So look at this video, how we change with the walking and swimming. Can you hear the music?
No, sir. You should share sound.
I will share computer sound. Yeah. This is the robot which can follow the anything red on the safe distance. This is a walking mode. So if you can see the web feed over here, now we are going to the swimming mode. So we'll tilt the vehicle on swimming. So there are 4 actuators over here, which can change the wheels or change the web feed of the duck. So you can see it's swimming. This is like web feed, faster and slower. Over here, the web feed is closing and opening by itself, so pushing the water, exerting the force by itself. So it's a manual one. So this is our novel design. So we are not using any motor to open and close the flap. Automatically, because of the flap of the water, pressure of the water, it's open and closed over here. So on the next one, how we started the design. Initial design was like that. So we have some failures and corrections. So we use double hinge to open and close the flap and get the better performance. Yes, Usama, are you saying something?
Yeah, this is the last minute, sir.
Sorry?
This is the last minute, sir.
Okay, sure. So I'll go quickly on the next one. So methodologies over here. The performance, again, a very important thing is you have to check the performance of your system and validation process. It's working or not. So how far it goes and the system like this. So it's so it's very important when you design a mechatronic system. You also think about the validation system. So that's all for me. And thank you guys for your time. And inshallah, see you soon on the next sessions. Yes, Osama.
I think time is over, Doctor.
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Osama, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Doctor, for a very interesting topic. It was well-informed, very informative and exciting. Thank you for that. So now we have our third keynote session on the topic, investigation of transfer learning approaches for robust COVID-19 diagnosis. This keynote will be delivered by Dr. Mohammed Inamul Hook Chowdhury, postdoctoral research fellow, University of Nottingham, UK. Welcome, Doctor.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Doctor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Osama, for introducing me. Today, I would like to thank the organizer for organizing a nice event in this COVID-19 situation, and the second Students National Symposium webinar. And I will be discussing about robust COVID-19 diagnosis techniques. Before moving into my topic, I would like to address my note towards Her Excellency Dr. Moona Bint Salim Al-Jadania, Undersecretary of the Ministry of Manpower for Vocational Training and Technical Education, and also Dr. Huda Salim Al-Suhaili, Head of Information Technology Department, Higher College of Technology, Dr. Muhammad Saeed Sulaiman Al-Bahri, Head of School, Information Technology Department, and also Mr. Talib Al-Mahrouki, Head of School, Information Technology Department. Osama, can you please allow me to share my screen? I hope I can share now. Yeah, I can share. I hope you can see my screen, yeah?
Yes, we can see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So just I'll quickly introduce myself. I have graduated from electrical engineering, and then I did my PhD in University of Nottingham, UK, on biomedical instrumentation. And I worked there for several years in the University of Nottingham, and then I moved to Qatar University in electrical engineering department. I'm working here in the last 5 years. My research interest is basically machine learning, image processing, signal processing, and biomedical signal processing. So today I'll discuss about like the recent update of COVID-19, just to brush up the things. What is the current status of the world and how the COVID-19 is affecting whole world, and what are the different research strategies me and my whole team are working. So you can see I will talk about the updates, and then I will talk about one of the first paper is submitted, and then I will talk about the second paper is submitted, and the third and the fourth, so on. So because the time limit, I will go quickly, but without making it difficult for the people to follow. So in COVID-19 situation, if we look at the different countries' infection and the fatality rate, we know COVID-19 has become already a significant problem towards the healthcare system and also the economy of the whole world. And the countries, you can see the different countries were in the list earlier when I was presenting in different time in different sessions. The list is continuously changing. You can see some countries are changing, especially now India, Russia, Brazil is like moving towards the list, Peru. And if you look at the death numbers, Belgium has significantly moved towards the like per million deaths, and some other countries which were not in the list initially, but now we can see then these are in the list. Especially if you look at the cases, we can see our Muslim countries like especially United Arab Emirates, UAE, and Saudi Arabia, and Qatar number is also quite high. And luckily, I think the Oman number is less. I didn't see that in the list, which is good, alhamdulillah. So if we look at the active cases, you can see the graphs of some countries are actually falling down, whereas some graphs of some countries are actually still progressing. So you can see India is still progressing and Brazil is progressing, where US is flattening, US flattening, some other countries is good that is flattening, but some countries is still going towards peak. So we don't know when it's gonna stop for some countries. So, and if you look at the average daily deaths, you can see these few yellow lines. These are still progressing in a very high rate, and some countries you can see they stopped and then started again. So, which is a issue of like we should think about that. And this is the place people try to visit in the summer. So we need to think about those. And some countries are progressively towards the declining, which is good. And this graph is really useful in terms of understanding which countries is moving towards like rising and falling. If you look at the red areas, these are the countries which are progressing in terms of the number of increase, weekly increase. And these are like declining the numbers, which is good side. But here you can see these numbers are actually quite increasing. This percentage, some of the countries, Iraq and some of the countries here, lots of countries are increasing. Saudi Arabia, you can see Morocco, Indonesia. And then in terms of the deaths, you can see these countries are increasing now, and these countries has like in the last week, this has reduced the rates. So we can clearly see some countries are taking place of others, but the total number of death is still quite high, and the total number of cases is still quite high. And if we look in terms of the mortality and in terms of the infectious things in COVID-19, you can see 81% of the population is actually of the infected population is mild, which is a good thing. Like in this pandemic, like we can still think that this majority of the population, infected population, they can stay home and can treat like flu. But this remaining 19% is the burden to the hospital, is the issue we need to be considered, we need to concern about. They are severe, can be even critical. And in some countries, the number is quite high in this percentage, depending on the healthcare system. And if you look at the population in terms of the, how the age distribution, we all hear about that. Above 50 or above 40, you can see the percentage is going very high, risky population. And if we move in terms of the, if we look at the existing condition, pre-existing condition, so we can see clearly the mortality is only 0.9% if there is no other disease. So people who doesn't have any other diseases, the mortality is really low. That's good news. But apart from that, the mortality will be very high if some of the coexisting diseases are there, especially cardiovascular disease, diabetes, any other chronic respiratory problem like COPD, and then blood pressure and cancer. And one important note we are observing in last few weeks and for these few months that in some countries, even if the number is very different, the percentage affected in the women and the men are quite different. It's affecting significantly in the men. So that's we should consider as well. So when someone female is affected, the less likely to end up with death than the male. So the hospital facilities should facilitate male more. This clearly shows. In some countries, the ratio even much different, 20-80%. So if we look at how contagious this disease is, so you can see the same, like 100 years back, we know Spanish flu was appeared. Right now, from the data available, but of course the CFR is very difficult to determine during the pandemic situation. It can be identified at the end, but currently it is around 1.5 to 3.5 in some cases, and the mortality rate is around 0.7 to 3.4, which is very close to the Spanish flu, which appeared 100 years back. But there are some other flus are very, very contagious, but still it is in the moderate domain. But the number of death per million population, you can see is quite high right now. It's just below hepatitis B and tuberculosis, COVID-19. It might end up in the top in the list by the end of like next month. And so it was like when I was presenting, it was climbing very quickly over the time. So let's see now how people are addressing this problem. We know this is a severe problem and how COVID-19 is screened, and its number of population infected is significantly related to the screening technique. And so far, the most popular technique is reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction, RT-PCR. Everyone knows about this technique. Like we take a sample from the respiratory specimen. The specimen is tested in the lab, and it test cost around $100 to $30 according to the literature, and it requires like specialized biosafety lab and specialized device and specialized personnel to operate it. But the positivity rate is quite low. Some reports is 30 even, and some reports is up to 63. So how to alternate this one? There are a lot of research taking place all over the world, how we can use other technique in place of RT-PCR or along with RT-PCR to improve the accuracy and make it faster. So in the beginning of February, we have actually started to work on this, like how we can help when China is like in a pandemic situation. And we started working, we're looking for X-ray, CT, and other alternative sources. We started working with X-ray. So there was no data set to work with X-ray. So we created ourselves a database and we make it public in Kaggle. And we got award for this initiative from Kaggle. Like 3 groups they have awarded, and we are one of them for our public data set. And you can access the data set from here. And then we've submitted a paper on this to show, can COVID-19 be classified from X-ray images with the help of artificial intelligence? So what we use transfer learning technique there. Because if you need to train a machine learning technique, deep learning technique, then you need a immense database. You need very large data set, level data set. But we don't have that data set in hand. So we had a smaller data set. So what we did, we took some algorithm which is initially trained on ImageNet database, which is a large data set, and classified 1,000 different classes of images. And we use that transfer learning approach to train on our new data and classify them into smaller classes, like few classes rather than the original large number of classes. So that's helped us to deal with a smaller number of data. Now, what we got. So you can see this is the confusion matrix from the all data we tested. Out of the, this is the normal images, like we had around 1,600 normal images and around 1,500 viral pneumonia images, and COVID-19 around 420 images around. So it's 423 images. So you can see only one image was misclassified as normal, and only 2 images are misclassified as viral. But all are quite accurately algorithm can find out as COVID. And our accuracy was around 98%. So immediately send this paper to scientific report, because you know, this can be really helpful for the society, because a lot of people are claiming at that time, researchers, that X-ray cannot be used. Even from radiologists from USA, they're claiming that X-ray cannot be used. And we said, yes, X-ray cannot be used, plain X-ray cannot be used for identifying COVID-19, but X-ray can be used with artificial intelligence. And we have showed that not only in this work, we have showed several other works that X-ray actually can be used for COVID-19 identification, because there is a significant signature in the lungs. You can see this is the deep layer image of X-ray of a normal person and a COVID-19 person here. You can see their lungs is completely different in the deep layer. This is like in the first layer of the neural network, but this is the deeper layer, and this is even deeper layer. So you can clearly see the lungs is appearing differently in the deeper layer image for COVID-19 patient than the normal and the viral patients. So COVID-19 has a unique signature on the lungs, and that can be utilized to classify them as COVID. So with a very high sensitivity. Then we got actually three images. I don't have the third one in this picture, but we have the 3 images misclassified, and we investigated with the doctors why those 2 images or 3 images are not classified by the COVID machine learner. So we found actually these are the original images, how they look like. These are for the child images we found, and these you can see here. This is the first layer, and this is the deeper layer images. So in the deeper layer images, it's clear that there is no such symptom. If you go back to the previous slide, the symptom of these are not present here at all. So these patients, maybe they are not COVID, or they may be COVID, but very early stages. Because we check this by RT-PCR data, so they are COVID positive. But they are in such an early stage that there is no infection in the lung yet. Doctor ensured that. So that's why network is failed. But other cases, network is doing great job. So then we thought, okay, let's see, can AI help us in distinguishing COVID-19, SARS, and MERS, even though they appeared in different times, like 2002 and 3, and then 2012, and then now 2019 and 20 COVID-19. So they appeared in different time, but they are from same corona family. Like, are their signature same in the lungs? So do we investigate it on the images? You can see COVID-19, MERS, and SARS images. Very difficult for the doctors even to identify which one is what. No, if I don't label them, radiologists cannot distinguish them. So we give it this responsibility to AI. Can AI identify that? So using our typical learners, machine learning algorithms, we cannot identify with very high accuracy. We just achieve around 85%. Then we say, okay, let's try some image processing technique. We apply, this is the original data with histogram. Then we applied histogram equalization on the image, but we found some saturation in the center areas. Then we apply contrast limited adaptive histogram equalization, which is a very a useful technique for image enhancement. And we found actually this is producing very nice image. And we also observe the complement image is a very useful one for doctors usually using the hospital to observe the changes in the chest. So we added all this image enhancement and then combine this all to train the machine, CNN, convolutional neural network, deep learners, to classify them into 3 classes. And we had this number of COVID, SARS, and MERS images. You know, these are not very available. We managed ourselves. We created our database and then we trained. And we observed that actually on 4 different algorithms, popular algorithms, SqueezeNet, ResNet, are very inception. They're very popular algorithms. So we found in the original images we got inception is doing the best job. Whereas when you equalize the data using Clahy technique, the algorithms are performing similar. But if we use image complement, we found actually 2 networks, DenseNet and Inception. Those are the deepest networks. The rest of them are comparatively shallow in comparison to those 2. The deep networks are performing very well. So when we combine ABC technique in the D1, we found actually we gained a lot in Inception, and ResNet also improved. So we summarize that actually we can achieve very high accuracy if we use this 3-channel technique. Like out of 423 images, only 2 images was misclassified. But out of 144 of MERS images, 10 images are misclassified as COVID. So we found actually there are some similarity between COVID and MERS. Such an excellent network even misclassifies some cases. So they have some, when you look into the deep layer images, we found there are some similarities between COVID and MERS, but these images are classified with very less confidence. So we discard them. So MERS doesn't have that much similarity with COVID and SARS, but COVID and MERS has some similarity. This is our findings, and we submitted that to recently to the Nature Machine Intelligence. And then we started thinking, okay, we can see X-ray is doing very well job in terms of classifying COVID-19 and other diseases. So why not we try also bacterial pneumonia? Because bacterial pneumonia is another big problem in the COVID-19 patient as well. When they go to the ICU, the patient in the later stages, they develop like secondary bacterial infection. So if we can distinguish bacterial pneumonia from the COVID-19 pneumonia, then we can tell that, okay, when the doctor should start even antibiotics in the COVID-19 treatment. So we tried 4 different groups of images: bacterial pneumonia, COVID-19, normal and viral pneumonia, with this number of images. And then we train all the algorithms available in MATLAB, like 18 pre-trained algorithms available in MATLAB. And then these are the different depths and different size of the and different number of parameters. So you can see there are some networks that are really huge networks and some are very small, tiny networks. And then we reported here some of the networks. So you can see this is the performance matrix for the bacterial pneumonia detection. This is for COVID, this is for normal, and this is for viral. And this is overall accuracy for all these 4 classes. So you can see if we use ResNet 101, we can get around 90% accuracy, overall accuracy. All the COVID-19 accuracy is very high. You can see COVID-19 accuracy in all cases is very high, but network is confusing between bacterial and viral pneumonia. And doctors even, you know, in radiologists, this is a really big challenging problem for distinguishing bacterial pneumonia and viral pneumonia. But network can identify with a 90% accuracy whether this is bacterial pneumonia, viral pneumonia, normal or COVID patient with very high sensitivity as well. So we can summarize that actually using machine learning technique with the deep networks, training on a good number of images, we can utilize these algorithms to classify these different types of disease groups. Then we started investigation. Can we identify COVID-19 patient early, like in a very early stage? So what we did, we took images and we used deep learning algorithm to extract the features. And that features we feed to our compact network, that's called convolutional support estimator network. We developed it few months back, and we use it in other application. Then we use this for our X application. So we took the feature from there, and then we apply that feature to classify in a compact network. And we actually managed to get reasonably high accuracy in early prediction. Like here, CCN1 is our one network, and these are the like typical classical approaches. And these are the deep learners I mentioned earlier in our earlier projects. So these are deep learners. They are getting very high accuracy, but they're really deep learners. But this one is very shallow network, and that can actually produce a very high accuracy in early prediction. You can see out of like 1700, 1800, 1600, you can say around 1600 images. It can predict with a very high accuracy. Only it misses two images for CSAN1, and CheckSNet only 2 images, and another version 3 images. So we can see in early condition, even network can identify whether that is COVID or non-COVID. Even it is very difficult for the doctors. All these images, doctors say that there are almost no sign of COVID there in the lungs, but they are RT-PCR positive. So but our network can identify in very early stages. So it can help actually significantly in the hospital to screen and take the precautionary activities. As soon as the RT-PCR test, when they're taking the sample, they can take an X-ray and they can feed to the network, and the network can tell that, okay, yes, this patient is positive before RT-PCR result. And they can be kept aside, like they can be taken to the isolation center immediately. So this will make the process faster. Then we investigated whether we can utilize this technique for quantifying like COVID-19 infection. If you look at this picture, this is the original X-ray image, and this is the inverted image. Usually radiologists used in the X-ray machine to check the lungs infection. You can see clearly all the lungs things very visible in this picture compared to this one, original one. So what we did, we then segmented the lungs. You can segment the lungs, and in the lung segmentation, because we need to train the network from the lung areas. This is the area where the infection is. So we can quantify how much lung is infected. There is no infection here, so the lung infection is 0. And then also we can attach a probability of how much COVID infection can be there, like how much this patient is a COVID, or because in a lung infection, radiologists or doctors will say, okay, this can be infection due to some other pneumonia, or other bacterial or viral pneumonia, or even can be TB, or can be cancer. So we are showing here 2 quantity. One is how much is the lung infection, and the second one is what is the probability of this patient to be a COVID patient. So 2 ways we are representing our results. And this will allow the doctors immediately, or the radiologist immediately, to see, okay, this patient is a COVID positive patient along with this amount of infection. So if his infection is growing, or his or her infection is growing, that means he is going towards severity. Or if his infection is decreasing, then he or she is improving. So it can help to monitor a patient improving or degrading. So that's our my last project what we finished, and these are the current works we are right now working on. We are comparing X-ray images of same patient and CT images of the same patient, because CT, already a lot of paper, hundreds of paper already claim that CT is doing great job in identifying COVID-19 pneumonia. So using AI, of course. Without AI, it can, but not with very high sensitivity. So we are trying, can X-ray take place of CT? Because CT has a lot of restriction in terms of accessibility, in terms of contagious problem in this COVID-19 situation. But X-ray is portable; it can be taken to the hospital bed, and they can take from in the hospital bed. So if X-ray can replace the requirement of CT with the help of AI, that will be like really useful in this situation. So apart from that, we're also working on the prognostic model. Like using the clinical data and the X-ray images side by side, we can say, okay, this patient is going to deteriorate within next 10 days, within next 8 days, 7 days. So we created a model. I have result, but I didn't share it because I thought it will be too difficult to share all these results here. We already got good results on this clinical data from a Chinese and a Kuwaiti database. So this is really doing great job in terms of predicting early which patient is going to be severe and which patient in the time course, if this improves, these parameters are improving, then the patient will improve. Then we started working on a Russian data set, grading the COVID-19 patient severity using CT data. Like we have 5 different classes of patients labeled by the radiologist. So doctors label them, and we are using AI to classify them. Okay, which patient is in which condition now. So based on the severity level, we can distinguish them. What is their status of health? So, and that was my last topic. Thank you very much for listening, and I will be very happy to answer your questions in the discussions session. I hope you were like you are really engaged in during the presentation, and a lot of different things, a lot of different collaboration options there. And if there are anyone interested in collaboration, we are really welcoming you for collaboration.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for an interesting session, especially during this pandemic. It's good to see these sessions being held. It was very informative. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Next we have the Q&A session. I would like to invite Dr. Sandersan Perumal, Dr. Saad bin Abdul Kashim, Dr. Mohammed Hope Chowdhury, and Dr. Mohammed Suleiman Al-Bahri, Head of Section, Department of IT of HCT, to this session. So dear participants, if you have any queries, please just put it in the Q&A section below for them to be answered. Thank you.
Thank you, Osama, and welcome again, Dr. Sandersan, Dr. Mohammed, and Dr. Saad. Thank you for this highly appreciated presentation. So we will be starting this session, and we propose now we will be having 30 minutes of question and answer. So can you hear me, all of you?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I will be starting first with Dr. Sandersan. Actually, you have given us, I mean, quite a good presentation where it is talking about the high velocity. So the things that we are looking for is how about like getting the IR for example, for helping us getting more understanding and better evaluation of numerous activities to get better knowledge and better understanding of such operation. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So in terms of industry 4.0,
yeah,
I would always say that AI would be playing a very, very major important role to take over your day-to-day operation. So
yeah,
one thing that I would like to highlight over here is the AI has to have its own limit in industry 4.0, not beyond the limit. As I mentioned earlier, that we need to know where we wanted to park this AI, because we don't want the machine to control everything. So the knowledge has its own level to a certain extent, that we must hold and restrict the future. That if everything in industry 4.0 is taken away by the machines, then again, we're going to talk about how the innovation is going to cut the cost and also the job. So it's going to be a huge impact for the society, because we can't replace human with robots. What we wanted to do with these humans, if every industry transforming into Industry 4.0. I'm not saying Industry 4.0 is not good for the future, but it has to have some kind of intelligent amplification instead of too much of artificial super intelligence. There is always two different things within artificial intelligence and intelligent amplification. These are the two different matter that the so-called most of the industry people need to understand. That's my point in this.
Yeah, but talking about, amplification, artificial amplification, intelligent amplification, in fact, there are some people who said it is the artificial implication, it is much better comparing to artificial intelligence. To what extent you are agree or disagree with this point?
Okay, when we said this, because why most of the people might have not heard about intelligent amplification. Everybody been talking about artificial intelligence. Why? Because people are terrified of artificial intelligence. We can't stop talking about it, whether we are in the office, online, or over the weekend, sitting with our friends. We are talking about artificial intelligence. And it is easy enough to drop this new technology everywhere. Whether people are extensionists, AI, or our last hope of keeping up with the robots. Because let me give you a very simple comparison. Take a distinction between an artificial intelligence and intelligent amplification. It's very similar between the virtual reality and augmented reality. Because virtual reality transports you into a whole new environment and removes you from the society. The same way AI takes over the task and removes you from your work. While augmented reality is not like that. It simply helps you to become smarter and more efficient in your space of work. So, like AI and VR, it's more heavily hyped on its counterpart. But in reality, technology companies like Apple, Facebook, they're trending towards a softer system of augmented reality. So the intelligent amplification will slow down a little bit towards the human nation, towards the mankind, actually. That's the point that I wanted to say that. In my opinion, obviously, I would go for a softer way of AI. So human has a role to play. That's it.
We're talking about the AI and all three of you that you are also mentioning the artificial intelligence. I think I will be moving to Dr. Saad. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Dr.
Yes.
Saad?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
But it's lagging.
Yeah. Nowadays, is my sound clear?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Yes, Mr. Mohammed.
But sometimes it's breaking down.
That's nowadays people focusing only on research for vaccination or medication, especially for the COVID-19. And as Dr. Mohammed, he was mentioning also using the artificial intelligence while just only to do the prediction and also to applying the artificial intelligence in this COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, there is one perspective that I need to highlight it here. We couldn't see nowadays even people talking about the sensor machines for the COVID-19. Okay, because still, I don't know, people, they are just only focusing in their data and the treatment. What about getting the sensor machine for predicting the viruses inside the surface, for example? Are there any research going on nowadays?
I think this question is from Muhammad Chaudhary. Dr. Chaudhary was talking about the COVID-19.
No, but I mean from the perspective of the machine learning. And
machine, yeah.
Yeah, and also,
Dr. Chaudhary, yes, I got your point. And Dr. Chaudhary, and I am working on something else, like what about treating the patient with mechatronics? Like, you know, with COVID-19 patients, we cannot go to the doctor, cannot go to closer to them. And we can use maybe when they check the saline or other stuffs, we can control the amount of saline intake, comparing with the urine outlet. So we can do this one with machineries or not. And for machine learning, we are using to detect the COVID-19 in early stage. So maybe it could help without contactless testing on the issues over here.
Yes, this is what is my question exactly. Just wanted to use the machine as sensors to discover or to sense the surface, for example, the tables, the boxes, if there are some viruses inside this surface, so that it can be helping the people to identify the viruses before they are touching these surfaces.
Yes, I saw those videos on YouTube as well. There's like image processing software, like they can check if there's a debris with high configured cameras, high resolution cameras. If there's a debris of virus on the skin, on the surface of the place, it's working. They are working fine, and image processing can detect the droplets, are they infected or not on the surfaces. But we are not researching on that area now at the time.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. I mean, if we came across this, I mean, because now it long time. It is not just only for a month. I mean, 1 month or 2 months. So people now, we need to, as a researchers, we need to help the people to identify, I mean, the location of these viruses before they are, I mean, entering the location or before they are touching that surface also. So this is one.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. Yeah, it's a really good idea.
To ask you about it. I mean, okay, because you are working in the machine and in the artificial intelligence. So
yes,
we could find it.
Very good idea. Thank you. Yeah.
Dr. Muhammad, just regarding the source of data set, okay, you have mentioned that you have integrating many data sets, okay, for the X-rays, including Qatar, right? So
no, not Qatar.
Not Qatar.
Not Qatar.
Not Qatar.
Italy, China, Spain, France, and USA.
Was there any difficulties? So if you tell us about the difficulties.
We are facing a lot of difficulty in getting data from hospitals, especially CDC is controlling most of the country. You know,
or it was open source, I could say it, open source data set.
You can say open source, but the thing is, the problem is, even in open source, the data set is scattered. It's not in an organized way. It is in different places. So what we did, for example, there is a organization from Italy. They shared 80 cases right now, 80 different patient data in the website. So it's a public open data source. And then there is one doctor in his own website. He uploaded 50 patients from the France. So, and then we go through all the publication, all the papers published so far, and we collected images from those papers. So that was hectic thing. That was not like just open source. Oh, we need to go through all the paper, each and individual paper, and collected images, copied the positive images from there. So that's how we created the database.
Okay, I will return back to Dr. Sandrans again. Just tell us where are the research right now? I mean, for the artificial intelligence, where it is right now in terms of researching, in terms of, I mean, where the people they are trending towards what exactly? Because I've seen in your trends, it is looking they are scattered.
Okay, talking about that part, if we really look at the diagram, we are actually, currently we are at the artificial general intelligence, whereby if you really look at the timeline that I've shown earlier, the timeline have brought us to a smart city. We are into a self-driving car, autonomous vehicles, you know, smart hospitals, doctors are doing operation from remote locations. So we are at this stage where we're at a very preliminary level. But if you look at in some part of artificial super intelligence, if you look at the United States, POTUS for an example, they are already using robots for a war, which is in a test period. Because we don't know how far this secret super intelligent research is being done. But for our level, the country, technology, transportation, and all that, we are looking at a very preliminary level, which is, I would say, it is artificial general intelligence. But if you look at the higher prospect, where according to the diagram, we have our maximum peak would be the radical life extension. That is the peak. So to achieve that,
yeah,
it's very far away.
So like now as a school, where, for example, in our institution, and maybe from your previous experience, how to, like, for example, establishing, encouraging the students and the faculties also to go inside such of the research. I mean, for example, the tools that you used, for example, and the cooperation with the industrial, because see, like the cooperation with the industry, it's very important things, because whenever you are conducting a research, you need to get your research in place in the industry. It need to be commercialized, right? So could you tell us about your experience also there in Malaysia? How, to what extent, I mean, the cooperation, how it is done, so that we can get the benefits from your previous experience with this regards.
Okay, coming to that point of AI, where we start is basically when for our institution or our students, we start to identify the industry problems. We identify the industry problems, then we get these students to engage with the industry. So there is another relationship is created. From there, this industry student will be given an opportunity to work together with the industry to come up with a solution. So from there, things could be commercialized. So there should be a space given, because industry are always worried about bringing the student directly, because they are very fresh, they have no experience. So obviously, we will be very scared of allowing them to come in. But there should be a door open in order for them to really expose and show what they are capable of.
Okay. So I will get back to Dr. Saad.
Yes.
Dr. Saad, regarding the tools you have used in your research, was it MATLAB or?
It's Simulink and MATLAB as well, and also SNSIR4.0.
Your soundings.
I have used MATLAB Simulink,
okay,
and also SNSIR4.0. It's just very specified for suspension system.
Okay. Are these projects also being commercialized or still not yet?
Not yet. It's like in Australia, it's hard to get the permissions for testing and other stuffs.
Okay.
So after I left Australia, the research is not promoting this one.
Okay. Okay. So I need to check. There are some questions for question and answers also. So just I need to. Okay. So this is, it might be going to all of you, I guess. How machine learning is involved in the artificial intelligence? I think Dr. Muhammad.
Yeah, sure.
He can answer the question. How machine learning is involved in the artificial intelligence in overall?
How machine learning is?
Yeah. So people, they might be now getting confused. Artificial intelligence and machine learning.
Yes, actually, yeah, you're right. Artificial intelligence is a big domain where a lot of things can involve. And we are only talking machine learning. That machine learning has another lot of different branches: supervised, non-supervised. Yeah, like if you start thinking about a robot, for example, he was talking about a lot. Our first presenter was talking a lot about robot, so robotics and things. So if we take that example, then robotics works with artificial intelligence. But in that artificial intelligence, apart from artificial intelligence, it needs sensor, it needs decision-making things. It should learn from environment, or you can learn, you can train it yourself by providing a program. So here machine learning is to help the machine to learn the things, and based on that learning, it can use its intelligence to take a decision. So for example, in my case, I'm showing machine learning only, not artificial intelligence. Is a domain of artificial intelligence, a part of artificial intelligence only, to distinguish X-ray images, for example. So artificial intelligence and machine learning are hand by hand, of course, but artificial intelligence is a very wide domain, which can cover a lot of different things. As you are showing, like Google Assistant, this is artificial intelligence. But of course, in the back end, some form of machine learning algorithm is working there. So this is how it works. If I say, okay, robot works with artificial intelligence, of course, in the back end, at the lower level, some machine learning algorithm is working.
Yeah, I could see. This is lead us to another question to Dr. Sandra. I mean, regarding, see, now the people, they are a little bit worried about the threats of the artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? So I think you have came to the statement where the people, I mean, the machines, it will be the replacement for the human, right? So the threats from different perspective, from the security, privacy, from even I mean, replacing the works or replacing the jobs. So to what extent we can elaborate it and to I mean, explaining to the people, I mean, are there threats? I mean, that's we anticipated in the futures for such of the technology that we are going to have.
Let's be honest on the way we are thinking. You know, artificial intelligence is always scary, because we are building robots that can think, learn, train themselves, and act at their own. It is not about, you know, VFX or movie. It's real. Robots can fight now. It's just about how you program. A simple virus known as COVID is controlling the entire world. But I am talking about artificial super intelligent robots create another robots. They create, they train, they come out with whatever they want. So what happened if one small mistake done by one country in future, which is going to take over the entire world? I might be sound negative, but what about the pandemic that we are facing now?
Yeah.
So I prefer to go through semi-active, like as I design semi-active suspension system. I don't want to go for full active system, right? It's dangerous for the car as well.
Now, of course, AI is about automating everything into a true machine learning. Yeah, I mean, machine intelligence. You know, we prefer if we have our own manufacturing production line, our quality is 100% being maintained, or we have a very solid AI machine, we'll be happy. But again, you come back to the same thing. What about 20 people who are supposed to be in that production line, but now replaced by a machine? You know. So sooner or later, you know, people, what we wanted to do with people. So I did mention in the video that, are we going to be a pet for these machines in future? Yeah, because they doesn't need food. Are they going to allow us to do our plantation, our agriculture? Or they are not going to bother about us?
Yeah, coming back to Dr. Muhammad, there was one question.
Yes, please. I'm actually answering the question. I'm from the audience.
Which okay. So
I replied to the question to the audience. I shared the link of the data set.
Okay, okay. And there is also one request, I could say. Could you please suggest some interesting project like for Sultanate and Oman? I mean, maybe all of you. If you, especially those from Qatar, maybe we are very close. So.
Yeah. I think that the project I recently submitted, it will be really useful project for any countries right now. You know, hospitals are crowded, doctors are working day and night. So the normal patient, normal severe patient, cardiac patient, diabetic patient, cancer patient, they are not getting their regular treatment now because of the crowdness in the hospital. So if these patients, along with the COVID-19 who are isolated in the isolation center, not severe, moderate, mild or moderate situation, they can be monitored using some wristband type of devices. They can make some smart module like wristwatch, which can get the data of temperature, blood pressure, oxygen saturation, heart rate, this kind of information, and send to the cloud without need of any doctor or nurse. And then doctor can monitor centrally all these patients from one room. Hundreds of patients they can monitor at a time. In that way, they can know which patient is going from normal towards severe or bad situation. They can immediately separate them without getting very worse condition. So they can do this kind of project. This will be really useful for this situation.
The other things, maybe it is because we are all in this situation. I'm looking for the artificial intelligence and the machine learning also to help them also, I could say, to predict. Okay, and you have mentioned in your slides, Dr. Muhammad, I mean, regarding the prediction of those people whom they are inspected for getting the infection, in fact.
Yes,
so to what extent this work is going on there in your institution?
Yeah, actually, we got a grant just recently from Qatar University. Qatar University organized a grant called Emergency Response Grant for COVID-19. So we are a team of doctors and engineers together applied for that grant, and we got that, alhamdulillah. And we are working with the hospital, Hamad Hospital, and the CDC, who is dealing with the COVID patients. We are getting data, clinical data, without any names and things. We don't need to go to the contact of the patient. We just take the data from computers of the hospital, and we investigate the patient's data to identify which are the important biomarkers will tell us the patient is going bad or getting improving. We find out only 6 variables. Only 6 variables is telling us whether the patient is going to improve or is going to degrade, even 10 days before. So we investigated that on data set shared from our partners from Kuwait and also from Wuhan, China. So both models shows that only 6 variables can tell you, out of hundreds of variables, 6 variables can tell you what the patient is going to be bad or good.
So do we expect to see some result for like helping people to predict, I mean, or helping the governments, I mean, to predict those people who might be infected using such algorithms or such mechanisms, rather than...
Yeah. Sorry?
Because they are just only trying to help people to just only to give them awareness for those, for example, whom they are having chronic disease, just only. But by this study, this is what I'm expecting. That's maybe using this X-ray, people's X-ray, for example, you can predict them in later stages. Okay, you are might be having this percentage of infection, so you have to be very cautious, rather than just only in general. Because now it looks generalized. I mean. Those people to whom they are just only having chronic disease, like autoimmune disease.
Yes, you're right, absolutely.
Okay. Hope to get such of these results soon, Dr. Muhammad.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Okay. Returning back to Dr. Saad, there is one question, I mean, here, that's how does the research help society in getting new knowledge and identifying the problems?
Identify the last one. Sorry, I missed your question again.
Yeah, it is how does the research will help society in getting knowledge, okay, and identifying the problems? Because we could see from your research, you are trying to identify the problems in the societies. Exactly.
Yes.
So how
Yeah,
is research helping?
And that's what we got from the problems in the medical as well. Now, because of the COVID situation, it's hard to attend the ICU patients. Now the nurse have to look for what is the intake, how the outlet of the urine. If it's there is more urine from the patient is coming, they can reduce the intake of the saline, as well as if there's less urine outlet, then they can increase the input of the saline water, not the patient. So we can do this one remotely, or we still don't want to do it fully active. It could be dangerous if a malfunctioning. So we've identified that problem, and we are trying to find a solution to do it automatically, or at least the nurse can get the information through her mobile phone, and the nurse don't have to go there and visit the patient. They can do it from there, and they can control it from their phone. So they can control the intake. And
in later stage, we will see some report that helping the doctors and nursing system. Okay.
Yeah, the doctor nurse.
They will be like, for example, in ICU, or where it is like a highly infected area, so that the robot it will go there inside. Inside these rooms rather than doctors and nurses.
Yeah, instead of going to the robot, we are doing it like controlling the saline flow, water flow, as well as we can wait the urine outlet or urine bag. What is the urine coming out? So instead of going in robot, it will be expensive idea. Someone is moving. We can monitor this one through cameras and also the sensors, the flow meters, and the weight machines.
Okay. Returning back to Dr. Sandrans, there is now, the world's now going towards the quantum computing, and how we can correlate, these quantum computing and artificial intelligence all together, to help producing for better productivities.
Facing on the, what was that?
Quantum computing and artificial intelligence.
Quantum, okay.
Yeah.
If you look at the quantum computing, see, when we said quantum computing, it is in a way to make use of the distinctively the amount of quantum at the mechanical phenomena. We have to measure that first, because quantum computing by itself is totally something that could have a superpower when it comes to, for an example, mathematics.
Yes.
For an example, for mathematics, something that requires 370,000 numbers of people to do a calculation, instead of doing that by using human, it just takes 1 millisecond.
Yeah.
So indirectly, AI is still a subset of this quantum computing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are there any research going on? In terms of using the quantum computing in the artificial intelligence?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say it's a subset. It's a subset at the background, like what just now we discussed about machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of an AI.
Yeah.
So
that's
same thing.
Yeah.
The same thing when it comes to quantum computing. It's still a subset in order to move the entire super intelligent.
Yeah, so the super intelligence, it might be more related to the quantum computing in later stages, I could say.
Exactly.
Okay. So maybe again, Dr. Muhammad, it will be very helpful in later stages of using the quantum computing in your research. Is there any plan currently?
Actually, yes, of course, because if you are dealing with image processing, we are limiting by the memory capability. Of course, it's taking a lot of time. To be honest, we started our works in beginning of February, and we started using MATLAB, and our all computers become like insufficient, insignificant for this work. We are really hampered by the capability of the machine. So then we moved into Python platform to use Google collab facility, like online platform facility with higher computational capability. So definitely in this image processing and machine learning domain, when you're dealing with large data set, high performance computer will be really important in the next coming decades.
But are you using it as, it will be as online, quantum computing? Because until now still, it's still not yet commercialized as per my knowledge.
Yes, yes. Yeah, even some giant companies like Google, they can have their own server and then they can share to the people, like they're sharing right now. Some of the existing system already they are freely sharing to the people. So you can probably use subscription oriented service from them.
As a research committee there, or as a research team there in Qatar?
In quantum computing, we have a center called Kindi, which is working in this direction under computer engineering and computer science and engineering.
Maybe we are studied it from the perspective of security, not from
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So returning back to Dr. Saad. Dr. Saad, are you still with us? Or?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. There is one question regarding how machine learning is involved. In your research, the research you have conducted so far.
Machine learning, I've just started to use nowadays with Dr. Chaudhary for detecting the COVID-19. Before that, we work on the predicting the share market on the. Yeah, I'm working together. We are in Qatar, so we are working together on COVID-19.
Because this is the first time I came to know that you are working sometimes in the same project, because I thought you are from different departments.
Yeah, we are different department, but my focus is on robotics and mechatronics, and Dr. Chaudhary is more on biomedical engineering. So we are collaborating on from the different fields, work together.
Okay. So the artificial intelligence, it works very optimistic towards, solving and contributing in this pandemic, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all the solution you came up with these sessions, that it looks the artificial intelligence, it plays the main important roles. Just to solve and to provide some more solutions.
Yeah, sometimes with human eye, it's very hard to detect with X-ray or other stuff to is it a COVID patient or not. But machine can detect it through layers.
Yes, actually, yeah, there is a report came in from USA Department of Radiology. They investigated on 639 patients from 6 radiologists. They investigated to identify whether they can distinct them as a COVID or not from the doctor's eyes using X-ray. They identify only 69 cases. So human can identify less than 70% accuracy, where I have shown that machine can identify above 95% accuracy. So you can see X-ray with AI is doing really great job.
Okay, thank you very much. Just only regarding the artificial super intelligence, would you please just only, Dr. Sandrans, just try to new technologies or new approach in terms of the artificial intelligence? Because right now, okay, like for example, the robots still, previously it has been built using the artificial intelligence. Now you stated they are using the super artificial intelligence. So what's things being added, okay, on top of the artificial intelligence? So if as, like for example, as we are lecturers or as we as academic and researchers, do you recommend us to start with the artificial super intelligent or super artificial intelligent, or we will still keep maintaining using the normal or general artificial intelligence?
That is like, okay, I would put it in this way. Even it is artificial super intelligent.
Yeah.
There is no barriers, because where we are heading towards achieving the artificial super intelligence. For an example, I bring to your attention that artificial general intelligence is quite common. I mean, everybody started to do by having numerous autonomous things. Let's look in a positive way. For an example, I'll bring you to the peak of the discussion of artificial superintelligence. For an example, the radical life extension, that is the peak of the entire artificial superintelligence, where we talk about life extension, is the idea of expanding human lifespan, either in the modesty towards improvement in medicine or dramatically increasing the maximum lifespan of a human being. Generally, a human can live about 100 years, 110 years, but the ability to achieve such a dramatic change, how could we extend the lifespan of a human being? Because some research are being going on this. For an example, the extensionists, immortalists, some proclaim gods, they believe that the future breakthrough, for an example, regeneration of stem cell technology, regeneration of molecules, genotherapies, these people could extend human life to extend more than 100 years. So there where this superintelligence will start to play a very, very major role, which in another way, I would say no death for a human.
So is this because of the new features that superintelligence it has, I mean, comparing to the normal artificial intelligence that we have it right now, because there are
Muhammad,
the algorithm,
2 minutes till the end.
That's why
Sorry?
So is this because of the powerful of the superintelligence, so that the people, they will move towards that direction of the superintelligence?
I think this two important points here. One is the computational capability, like the decision-making capability of the system. As he showed, it can replace human in some places.
Yes.
It can take decision as good as human in some places. In some cases, take better decision than human eyes, because we have some limitation in our cases. In some cases, we don't see something which machine can identify. So this is, if you utilize in that way, of course, it is that superintelligence is helping us. But of course, it has limitation in some places. Still robotics, still in its infancy, you can say, still is not doing that great job replacing human. But in some cases, like as I'm showing image analysis, machine is doing much better than human. So there are two different directions.
So are there any tools you recommended to start with the super intelligence, Dr. Sandran? Are there any specific tools, or just only as normal tools that we used to have it in the artificial intelligence or general artificial intelligence?
No, it depends on the field. For an example, if you heard about xenotransplantation, that nowadays even we started to print artificial heart.
Okay.
We already have artificial heart that which can use a 3D printer to print, and doctors have started to use it in the real medical industry. We already have printed columns and all that is already in the market. So depends what industry are you into. If you are a medical industry, maybe we can start to look about 3D printers and all that. And if it is in a financial institution, obviously the question raised again, quantum computing should come and involve, because only when it's financial, we have to talk about quantum computing, because we are now already in a blockchain and all that. That's another part which is coming into the picture.
Yeah.
So it depends what industry we
are. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Doctor.
thank you very much.
I'm afraid our time is up.
Okay.
So thank you very much for the discussion. I'm sure that all of the participants have been enlightened about the topic. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So now I welcome Mr. Talib Al-Mahrouqi, Head of Section Information Technology at the Higher College of Technology in Muscat, for the closing remarks. Mr. Talib, the floor is yours.
Yes, Osama. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. And I would like to thank all of you for this valuable discussion that we have attended now. And I would like to extend our thanks to Her Excellency Dr. Muna bin Salim Al-Jardani for her supportive opening speech that she gave as a support for our students. We have seen a lot of improvements between this year, National Symposium, compared to last year in terms of participation, especially. So we hope that we keep support our students, like our future researcher and the young researcher that we'll have in the future, for by attending their presentations. We have seen the importance of IT nowadays in this COVID-19. We have seen that the topics in IR4 becomes really important in solving the human problems in the current situations. So we have seen today like a lot of areas were discussed where it gives an opportunity for the student to think about topics that can be identified for them as a research topic in the coming days. So we hope that our new researchers can continue their research and publish their papers in the future, inshallah. And we can see some of them as comes as a solutions for some of these problems. So I would like to thank also at the end our keynote speakers, Dr. Sandrine and Dr. Saad and Dr. Muhammad, for their valuable presentations. And we hope that to see everyone attending the parallel session that is going to start soon, inshallah. Many thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Talib, for the closing remarks. Dear participants, please fill the feedback form, which will be opened once you leave the meeting. If the form is not displayed with you, kindly fill the feedback form available in the Symposium website. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will have a break for approximately 30 minutes. We will start our presentations at 12:30 p.m. Please join back at 12:30 p.m. using the link sent to you by email. So if you open your email, you'll see the other link to the other parallel sessions. This is Osama, the master of the ceremony. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in half an hour.